it dawns on me, there's a lot of people, I think, particularly Jewish people in America, that are having that awakening, that they're not anti-Judaism, they're not even anti-Israel existing, but they kind of feel like they've been lied to about Palestinians, that there's been basically what we were taught about the horrors of the Holocaust, that we are doing a lot of those things that were done to us now. Obviously, when you're talking to Latinos and other people, that might not be the top issue. But have you talked to, in your campaigning, people like you that might have had this awakening?
Sure. And more than anything, I have people that are reaching out to me because of this, and because so many people, especially in certain parts of the country and Jewish communities, feel particularly isolated from people. I've even been setting up older people on friendship matchmaking situations, because I've had a couple of an older Jewish gentleman reach out to me a few months ago. He's 84. And he saw me and he was inspired, and he just cannot figure out what has gone. All his friends, he says, have lost their minds. They have lost their minds. And so I've been sort of connecting as many people that are coming up and together as I can, because at the end of the day, there are more of us. And it's really just about building that coalition of people and having people feel that solidarity, because when it feels like you're alone, it's you feel a lot less effective. And so it's defeatist feeling. I think it's important for people to understand that there are a lot of people like us. Unfortunately, the people with the money and the capital are fighting against us, but there are way more of us. And it's hard to see through that sometimes. So I think oftentimes I think people just need a little inspiration.
Right. And shifting away from the Israel-Gaza situation for a minute, it's remarkable to me. I remember in 2016, I covered Tim Canova before he lost his mind. He was running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And it was pretty remarkable in the 23rd district at the time. I'd say the majority of people didn't even know there was a primary.
Right.
Didn't even know who their congressperson was. You see this also. I met you on the ground in Cleveland. I was covering Nina Turner's primary. Most people there, if they know there's a primary, their only exposure to or getting information is 30-second TV ads. Yeah. And that's what informs them, because most people are not diehard into politics. And if they're going to vote, all they hear is the ads. So that's why all this AIPAC money flooding in is so important, because a lot of times AIPAC's ads might not be specifically about Israel.
No, they're usually not. They're usually not about Israel.
Right. But it's pretty damaging if you are, have less money to compete, because most voters are, I don't want to say low information, but don't have a lot of time, and their only exposure would be this onslaught of TV digital ads, which are going to paint, in Bowman's case, his opponent as, reasonable, moderate, pro-Israel, and paint Bowman as like a supporter from us, which is not the same thing. And I'm sure AIPAC, if need be, will spend money to support Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah, we're in a mixed bag situation, because Debbie's strategy with me going back to 20, and what she's still doing right now, is to pretend that this isn't happening. She doesn't even acknowledge there's a primary. She doesn't even people just wonder, oh, she's showing up at things lately. Huh, that's interesting. I mean, she doesn't even acknowledge.
You mean the candidate who is fighting for democracy along with the Democratic Party doesn't acknowledge she has a primary challenger?
Oh, God, no. No, she doesn't acknowledge there's a primary. And I would love somebody to ask her point blank, but nobody seems to want to do that. But she just pretends it's not happening. So on the one hand, I was concerned early on about how much I thought that the Israel lobby would come after me. But that is now being tempered by her probably holding them back, because she doesn't want any attention brought to this race. Her strategy is to pretend it's not happening. And let me be very clear. We had 14% voter turnout in a primary here, 14%. So when these AIPAC and all these lobby groups are spending all this money on the TV ads and At the end of the day, those ads are on repeat for a small echo chamber number of registered Democratic voters. And what it really comes down to is these candidates' ground game, which is what I said to you before, because all the ads at the end of the day will not compete with a quality ground game, because their interactions will be by mailer and TV or paid people that are not really, that are just there. It's not the same thing as having volunteers and canvassers that really believe in what you're doing. So I don't know their ground game. But if they have a good one and they're really knocking doors and they're really on the ground talking to the voters that they need, and I'm talking in a 14% voter, that's how little you need to actually get out to vote. I need 50,000 votes. That's it. And keep your eye on that, right? So no matter how much money they put in, you have to get your 50,000 voters out. That's the game.